Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives, not just the latest episode. All free at gcnlive.com.
This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
From high atop the Missouri Ozark Mountains, and John is engineering the broadcast in Minnesota. There's a link to all of your instructors on the website, USAPrepares.com. And for those of you who are new to the class, there are about 200 of us here at USA Prepares. And the instructors that are on the air with us are experts in various areas. We're innovators, dentists, medical doctors, engineers, researchers, CEOs, broadcasters, physicists, farmers, inventors, and we're students rising to become instructors. Today, I'm delighted to introduce your newest instructor, Joe Occhipinti. And Joe was the director of operations at an organic health food chain. And we're going to talk about the military, then versus now. We're going to talk about trickle-down militarization. We're going to talk about patriotic pride versus nationalism. And Joe was with us at the Sparta, Missouri Ultimates meeting, right here near Springfield, Missouri, in the little city of Sparta, about a little over a square mile, where Bob Estep was tased, 68-year-old instructor and student at USA Prepares. Joe Occhipinti's been to a number of our meetups, and he's going to be speaking at the Get Prepared EXPO about food and the threats to you from our food system. Welcome, Joe Occhipinti.
Hey, thanks, Vince. Thanks for having me on this morning.
Hey, it's delightful being with you on the air. Hey, Joe, we weren't going to talk about this, but I was thinking about Sparta. You were there, and we were standing next to each other. We're kind of chatting, and you videoed and streamed that meeting. Wasn't that something that the Sparta government rallied around this police officer, and they wouldn't discuss how he tased Bob Estep and how literally they circled the wagons in defense of Bob Estep? What was your reaction to that meeting? You want to share a little bit about that?
Sure. You're absolutely right. And it's kind of the point that we did discuss about speaking to today, and that's the trickle-down militarization of government in general, and how they will all circle their wagons, whether they're right or wrong or caught in a lie or not. They all circle their wagons. And I've actually got some quotes by the Minister of Propaganda, Joseph Goebbels, under Hitler too. And what he said about government and about propaganda is if you tell a lie big enough and you keep repeating it, people will eventually come to believe it. The lie can be maintained only for such a time as the state can shield the people from the political, economic, and or military consequences of the lie. It thus becomes vitally important for the state to use all of its powers to repress dissent, for the truth is the mortal enemy of the lie, and thus by extension, the truth is the greatest enemy of the state. And that's what I really saw, even prior to us making our way into the chamber there where the meeting took place, was they had military people dressed up in military garb with the flak jackets on, extra cuffs, extra magazines for their pistols, in black uniforms, standing right outside of that hall. And there was about 5 or 6 cops out there for a meeting that I would say probably gets 5 to 10 people. There was a few more people there because USA Prepares showed up in force. But they wanted to stifle dissent. They wanted to put a military presence, an intimidating presence outside of that building in hopes that people would not come in, or that when they did come in, they would feel intimidated. And we see that all throughout society. And so that was the first thing I noticed about the meeting. And then he was allowed to get up and speak, except the police officer's family. I believe his uncle, his aunt, his grandfather, one other person was allowed to speak. And there was one resident that was there, from Sparta that got up and spoke, and said that he'd like to see some facts and he'd like to see an investigation done, on the incident with Mr. Estep. And where that is these days, I don't know. I think it's just been swept under the rug. So. Right.
Well, there were more people from USA Prepares there than, I would say, than the rest. And we had at least 6 of our instructors there. Mike Wasson was there. You were there. Judy Dollarheight, John Dollarheight, Ken Hurley, and me. So that's at least 6. And there were probably 25 of us. I thought there were going to be more, but there were only 25. But we still were in the majority at that meeting. And it still bothers me to this day what has happened. And still bothers me to today that, well, I don't see an investigation going on. I really don't. At least it's not making the news.
Yeah.
So we'll continue to follow. We'll continue to follow the Bob.
Nobody was there to say that the officer was right or wrong. I think what we were there is to let the city council know that we expected due process there. That if a private citizen had tased another private citizen, you can bet there would have been a police investigation and probably some charges filed. And so I think what everybody was there was to get to the truth. And again, it speaks to the circling of the wagons and the propaganda and how the state views the truth. They view it as the mortal enemy of the state. So,
Joe, you're absolutely right, and I can prove you're right because there was a shooting in outside of St. Louis in St. Louis County, Missouri, where in the area where Ferguson, Missouri. And what happened was the former police chief resigned, and he got about $100,000 in severance. He got a year's compensation, year's salary, plus he got his health benefits, so $96,000 plus, some more for his health benefits. And so he walked away with $100,000, and the community is outraged, absolutely outraged that you can have a department that's out of control, that beats up on the people, that's rough on the people, that fails in its obligations to its oath of office. And then we send this guy off packing with $100,000. More money than a lot of the protesters have probably ever seen in one place, in one time. Yeah, he gets that for leaving, just going away. And so they protested. And allegedly, some shots were fired. And allegedly, some police officers, 2 of them, were hit. One in the shoulder, one in the face. And the news report was that the police's highest priority, their highest priority is to find those shooters. That's their highest priority. Now you contrast that to Bob Estep, who was pulled over while traveling around 9:00 at night, pulled over by a cop. The cop allegedly opens Bob Estep's door and tases him in his car. And there's no investigation that I know of. None. His civil rights were violated. I hope Bob Estep owns Sparta, Missouri, by the time this is all done. And I hope when he owns it, he disbands the entire city government. There's no need for it. There's no need for a belligerent, out of control, abusive government that sets up a toll booth that gives 170 tickets a month in a population of 1,753 people. Is that the number that you heard, Joe? 170 tickets a month?
That was it. That was it, which I think we did the math, and that was you were going to get it. You were going to average a ticket there if you lived there. You can average a ticket about every 10 months. So you can expect, on average of 2 tickets every 3 years driving through Sparta, Missouri.
So, I made this statement. I don't want to go to Sparta, Missouri. I'm not going to Sparta, Missouri unless I absolutely have to. And that would be at the defense of Bob Estep. Other than that, I'm not going to any business in Sparta, Missouri. And I've taken a little bit of heat from this. Some of my radio buddies have tried to educate me on why I'm wrong. But, I shouldn't take it out on everybody who lives in Sparta. Just because there's one cop by the name of Andrew Spencer who is willing to tase someone for no apparent reason. Because I'm willing to put the blame on him for violating the constitutional rights and being a criminal using his taser with apparent immunity from prosecution. Well,
and I, for one, Vince, I applaud you for standing tough on this whole issue. As you know, I made a 6-hour round trip on 2 different days, but on back-to-back days to go to that city council meeting because I felt it was that important. This is how things start, and these things, you don't end up with a Ferguson, Missouri overnight, and it's not just poor and minority communities that these things are happening in. And so if people aren't willing to stand up now for their neighbor, whether it's in a neighboring city, county, if they're not willing to stand up in their own city, you're going to wake up one day and wish you had,
right.
Because things will just continue to deteriorate. And, you're going to go from 176 tickets a month. If they can get away with that, maybe 250 is the next target. Or maybe everybody, tasing, opening the door and tasing is the new protocol. So, these things happen by incrementalism. And they don't just until you wake up one day and you went, wow, what happened? And I think people around the nation are waking up going, wow, what happened to our country? Well, what happened to our country is nobody stood up when these things were happening 10 years ago. Nobody stood tough like you are and talked about them, and put them at the forefront of people's consciousness 10 years ago, 20 years ago. And so now you wake up one day and incrementalism, you've got the country that we see now. And so, hopefully here, we'll still have the military plays a part of that in that, and how propaganda plays a part in that. How we've gone from fighting for freedom to 900 bases in over 132 countries. That sounds like an empire to me.
Yeah. Class, how would you like to meet Joe Occhipinti? Again, at the Get Prepared Expo, he's going to be speaking on food and our food system and how it's being destroyed and how you're being killed with it. Yeah. That's the Get Prepared Expo, the last weekend in March 27, 28, and 29. We'll be right back. Class, who wants to pay less taxes and enjoy the same tax deductions that the rich take? At the Get Prepared Expo, I'll show you how. This is something I learned 40 years ago, and I'm delighted to teach you. What if you lose your job or your company shuts down? The plan is for you to be financially independent by starting your own business. Any business, whatever you like to do. I haven't had a job since the 1980s. Saturday and Sunday, March 28th and 29th, 150 seminars and exhibits, $8 online, $10 at the door. Cowan Civic Center, Lebanon, Missouri. GetPreparedExpo.com. 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. That's how long it takes to die. At the Get Prepared Expo, we'll have pallets of Berkey and ProPure water filtration systems at the lowest prices in the country. Berkey and ProPure water filtration systems, and we'll have the lowest prices in the country on top of the line Mountain House freeze-dried food with a 35-year shelf life. 150 seminars and exhibits, $8 online, $10 a day at the door. Saturday and Sunday, March 28th and 29th at the Get Prepared Expo. Cowan Civic Center, Lebanon, Missouri. GetPreparedExpo.com. The financial collapse of the United States is a mathematical certainty. There's no doubt about it. U.S. Air Force Captain and author John Regan will explain why this will happen and what you need to do about it right now. We're not trying to scare you, but the collapse is coming. This and 150 seminars and exhibits are included in your pass. $8 online and $10 a day at the door. Saturday and Sunday, March 28 and 29 at the Get Prepared Expo, Cowan Civic Center, Lebanon, Missouri. GetPreparedExpo.com. Ladies, for $450, you can buy a brand new AR-15 rifle kit at the Get Prepared Expo. Because this AR-15 is a kit, there's no paperwork and no registrations required. It's totally private and all 100% legal. AR-15 kits and seminars on how to assemble them. 150 seminars and exhibits, $8 online, $10 at the door. AR-15 kits, $450 at the GetPreparedExpo.com. Saturday and Sunday, March 28th and 29th, Cowan Civic Center, Lebanon, Missouri. How many
Most people know that drinking pure high alkaline pH water is the most important factor in maintaining high energy and vibrant health. Most experts agree that the water you drink should be at a pH level of 8 or higher. AlkaVision Plasma pH drops combine a unique formula of the most alkaline minerals. Using plasma pH drops is the best way to make your water alkaline to help you get rid of acid and regain your health and energy. Simply put 10 drops in the water you drink to raise the pH to a healthy level. Alkalizing water helps your body rid itself of acidic waste and increases the oxygen content of your body. Disease organisms like bacteria, viruses, and cancer cannot survive in an alkaline high pH environment. Order your bottle of AlkaVision Plasma pH drops now by going directly to alkavision.com. That's ALKAvision.com. Or call 269-409-1776. 269-409-1776 today.
We all know that Berkey water purification systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 6 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey water filtration systems. The Berkey Light systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light system today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $231, and the Berkey Guy will ship your order free of charge. With the purchase of a Berkey Light, the Berkey Guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off the retail price. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at goberkey.com. That's goberkey.com today.
You know, I'm looking at the internet, and there's a post on USA Today, and it says Holder. That would mean Eric Holder, Ferguson shooter, disgusting punk. That's what the headline is, and I find it fascinating. He says, this is a quote, okay? What happened last night was a pure ambush, Holder said. This was not someone trying to heal Ferguson, meaning Ferguson, Missouri. This was a damn punk, a punk who was trying to sow discord. That's the quote. Those are his words, not mine. Now, the problem I have with that is what would he say about Andrew Spencer, the cop in Sparta, Missouri, who opened Bob Estep's door, a 68-year-old farmer, opened his door and tased him right in his car? Would he say that was a disgusting and cowardly attack, Eric Holder? Is that what you would say? Or would you say, no. Listen, you know, when you pull someone over for whatever reason, you know, you have to tase them. Well, that way you don't have to kill them. You just tase them. Is that what we're talking about? You know, Joe, I'm still, after all the time has passed, I'm still angry about what happened to Bob Estep. I'm still angry that there's no investigation. I'm still angry that this cop, this black uniformed cop, Andrew Spencer, in Sparta, Missouri, is still walking around as a domestic terrorist. He is a terrorist. I mean, the guy's he's got a gun, he's got extra magazines, handcuffs, all the equipment that you would expect a black uniformed guy to have. And he's out walking around. He's not behind bars. He has not been charged. He has not been arraigned. He has not been tried. He's walking around with impunity. That's why I'm not going to Sparta, Missouri. And the way I feel about it, and I just want to be really clear. If the community of Sparta, Missouri, if those people who live there aren't willing to take action and get this guy off the street, then why should anybody go to Sparta, Missouri? If those businesses don't stand up and say, are you kidding? You guys have set up a toll booth. You're reducing our ability to earn a living. Our commerce is down. People all over America are talking about Sparta, Missouri as if we have a disease, and we do. We want that disease cured. We want this guy off the streets. We made a huge mistake in allowing this to happen. This culture of ticketing and tasing. That's why I'm not going to Sparta. Joe?
Yeah, I agree. Like you said, they have all of the military grade equipment, and they're decked out in it, and none of the training. Andrew Spencer, to me, when I saw he was there during that meeting, he looked like a kid. He couldn't have been older than 25 or so. All the stuff, the heavy belt with all the tasers and equipment and extra magazines were almost falling off his body because he looked like a kid. And like I said, we've now switched mentalities to putting military equipment in the streets here in the United States, putting warrantless checkpoints and random checkpoints here on the streets of the United States. 20 years ago when I was a kid growing up, that was things that you were taught that happened in communist Russia, that happened in Nazi Germany, it happened in communist China. Those were the things that were to be avoided and fought against. Well, now nobody's fighting against those things anymore. Everybody's too busy fighting with each other and labeling each other. So I don't think anybody here and anybody in our group is anti-police. But to be pro-accountability these days, you seem to be, and pro-freedom and pro-individual, people want to label you as anti-police or anti-military. Well, no, I'm somebody that just has questions. And when the state fails to address those questions and fails to even recognize those questions as valid, and then even takes it a step further by asking those questions, labels you a terrorist, I think people better wake up. And I think they better wake up pretty quickly, because they're not going to like what's going to happen right around the corner. They're just not going to like it.
Joe, I just got an email from one of our instructors, Mike Ma, M-A-H. He's coming up from Central America for the expo, and he's all excited. He's been to our expos, and he's been to all of them. And he's going to teach a seminar that I don't think many people understand, the description of how to bribe, negotiate for your life. He comes from an area where you have to get through these checkpoints that you just kind of mentioned, the Soviet-type checkpoints. But these are in Mexico and Central America. He's going to teach people how to bribe your way through and not to overbribe, and how to get through these checkpoints.
Class who wants to pay less taxes and enjoy the same tax deductions that the rich take. At the Get Prepared Expo, I'll show you how. This is something I learned 40 years ago, and I'm delighted to teach you. What if you lose your job or your company shuts down? The plan is for you to be financially independent by starting your own business. Any business, whatever you like to do. I haven't had a job since the 1980s. Saturday and Sunday, March 28th and 29th, 150 seminars and exhibits, $8 online, $10 at the door. Cowan Civic Center, Lebanon, Missouri. GetPreparedExpo.com. 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. That's how long it takes to die. At the Get Prepared Expo, we'll have pallets of Berkey and ProPure water filtration systems at the lowest prices in the country. Berkey and ProPure water filtration systems, and we'll have the lowest prices in the country on top of the line Mountain House freeze-dried food with a 35-year shelf life. 150 seminars and exhibits, $8 online, $10 a day at the door. Saturday and Sunday, March 28th and 29th at the Get Prepared Expo. Cowan Civic Center, Lebanon, Missouri. GetPreparedExpo.com.
This alert just came in. This special announcement is for business owners and leaders of organizations who've been waiting for the right time to build. General Steel has made it impossible to wait any longer with rock-bottom prices that could save you thousands. That's right, General Steel, America's leader in pre-engineered structures, is offering buildings at prices you will never see again. Don't miss these prices. A 50 by 100 for $35,000. You heard right. That's 5,000 square feet for $35,000. Manufacturers, if you need a larger building, try a 100 by 100 commercial building for $129,000. You can't afford to rent with these prices. Imagine a 70 by 100-foot church building for under $69,000. With the economy improving and interest rates still at historic lows, you can't afford to wait. So call 866-91-STEEL. Lock in your price now. Call 866-91-STEEL. That's 866-917-8335.
I'm Vincent Finelli of USAPrepares.com. As most of you know, I broadcast weekday mornings on GCN from 9 to 11. And I'm also a full-time farmer. Add to that mix the weekly meetups and the Get Prepared Expo, and this combination makes for a demanding schedule. On the farm, we raise grass-fed Black Angus cattle and provide them with the best variety of summer and fall grasses available,
Our cattle are exposed to the extremes of weather, the toxins in the air, and the electromagnetic radiation that's all around us. So even the best grasses and food that we provide are not enough. Our cattle require minerals and supplements for strong health and resistance to disease. And so do we. For these reasons, my mother, our children, Mrs. Finelli, and I all take Youngevity, Beyond Tangy Tangerine, De-Stress, Glucogel, and EFA+. USAPreparesTeam.com. And thank you for being in class today.
By now, you may have heard a bit about Bitcoins. But did you know Bitcoins are now over an $8.5 billion market? And did you know that over 65,000 businesses now accept Bitcoins? Listen, if you're already earning Bitcoins or trying to make money in the Bitcoin market, you've got to know bidbit.co. Why? Because bidbit.co is where you can easily receive Bitcoins by selling and auctioning off your own personal items or promote business products and services for Bitcoins. You heard right. Whether personal or business, you can now buy, sell, and auction your products and services quickly, easily, and securely for Bitcoin at bidbit.co, the first and only marketplace website to offer Bidbit Escrow, a proprietary technology which gives buyers and sellers security and peace of mind because all transactions are protected. Start today. It's free to join, free to post, free to auction, and free to bid at bidbit.co. Buy, sell, bid, or auction everything Bitcoin. That's www.bidbit.co, bidbit.co.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows. Pause and rewind live TV. Even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
Class, what you're seeing is that some of us are not only saying it, but we're visible in the public. We're showing up at meetings. John and Judy Dollarheight are showing up in meetings, and they have been for quite a while. And they're asking a lot of questions, and they're not taking the runaround as an answer. They are demanding answers in their community. Joe Occhipinti is with us, and he's one of us. He's demanding answers. And we're not going to stop until we get answers. And we're not going to stop until we get the criminals out of office. On Monday, we've got a meetup at Jimmy's Egg. And that's the meetup where I give out the tickets to our regular meetup attendees so they can get to the Get Prepared Expo. And I pass them out for the regular attendees. So if you're a regular, you're certainly entitled to a ticket. And that's just the way we've been doing it for 7 expos. I'll also pass out the signs, and the signs are going all over the Springfield community, the Ozarks, Lebanon. And you get a chance to see them. They're the yellow and black signs that say Get Prepared Expo. So if you need some to put out in your area, we'll have them at the meetup. Joe Occhipinti, we're going to talk about the militarization of the country, and we're going to talk about World War II and who runs the military. Where would you like to start?
Well, I guess, we can start with how the conversation came about. You and I were discussing a couple of weeks ago, got into a discussion about, my approach to when I come across a cousin or a family member or a friend that thinks about joining the military. And again, I want to preface this by saying nobody here is anti-military. I think one of the greatest things you can do is to give service and the possibility of loss of life or loss of health for the cause of your country. But that's in a patriotic sense and not a nationalistic sense. And that's what I see. I see the lines really being blurred these days between patriotism and nationalism. And I'd like to just, for the purposes of this discussion, sort of define the two. Nationalism is places the importance on unity by way of cultural background, language, and heritage. So it's really talking more about ethnicity, and that's what you saw in Nazi Germany. You see what the rise of nationalism can do. It's not set around any base ideals. Those ideals can be changed, and again, through incrementalization, you can start at one point, which is a relatively good place to be, or a good set of ideals, but really end up at a hellish point. And that's where you saw Nazism and nationalism take an entire population and almost an entire continent. So again, nationalism tends to put the importance on language, a common heritage. It tends to be very aggressive and excluding of people who aren't part of that heritage, or don't share this. Where patriotism, it tends to be a common belief, or a common unity based on beliefs and values. And that's really what our nation was founded on, and really what made it great, especially to the lead up of World War II and some of the boom years after that. And so what I see happening in this country, and the reason I would encourage people that are thinking about joining the military, and recruitment numbers are record low, because I think people are starting to see this, is really take a look at what that commitment involves. Not just the physical commitment where you completely lose any authority over your body and what happens to it and what goes in it. We could get into some of the social and medical experimentation that's gone on troops throughout history, in recent history. So you don't just give up physical authority over your body, but you now have no say over what you fight for. So you might be joining for all the right reasons. You want to serve your country. You have a history in the family of it. And those are very, very good reasons. And I value those people. But what you're fighting for is not what you think you're fighting for. You're not fighting for the defense of this country, necessarily anymore. If you look at the statistics, you've got a lot better chance of being in a plane crash or killed by a police officer than you do by a terrorist. And so what you're really fighting is bankruptcy. And that's what wars have been throughout history. If you look at some of the corporations, American corporations that funded Hitler and the Nazi Party, his rise to power, it's pretty eye-opening. But those are through propaganda, and to the victors go the spoils. Well, they tend to rewrite history. People don't know that. People don't know that, Chase Manhattan Bank, General Motors, the Ford Corporation, the Dow Corporation, Brown Brothers Harriman Bank, they all funded and gave resources to the Nazi Party. And that's what happens throughout history. You have these big, global corporations that fund both sides of every war because they profit off both sides. They can profit off making the tires for your car and then the chemical petroleum products that we use here at home, but they can also profit by selling those same products for the war effort on both sides. And so I would challenge people to do just a little bit of your own research thing. And with the internet being so accessible to people, and why they want to shut it down through the Net Neutrality Act and all this, they don't want this information at people's fingertips anymore. With Jeb Bush entering the presidential election, if we knew that his grandfather, Prescott Bush, actually had an FBI investigation opened into him because he was sat on the board of directors for Brown Brothers Harriman Bank, who was top funding the Nazi Party and Hitler's rise to power, and his assets seized, a lot of assets seized from that bank, he probably wouldn't have a platform, which I don't think he does much anymore anyways. But people would not even think of letting another Bush in office anywhere. And so people need to do their own research and really look into these things before you let your kid sign up to go fight and die in another bank or war. They're trying to expand onto Russia's borders now. They're expanding into Africa. It's like Donald Rumsfeld said, this will be the next 50-year war. Americans will tolerate decade-long wars, but usually about after 10 years they run their course. And this one they plan on going for a long, long time. So.
Joe, I can put an exclamation point on what you just said. I literally have a lapel pin, and it's a fine silver lapel pin, probably about 2.5 inches long, and it has two logos on it.
And this is something that a man would wear in his sport coat of the day, or his suit coat of the day. I'm talking the 1930s. And one side of this lapel pin, and in each one of these logos is about the size of a pea. One side is the Ford oval logo with the script F-O-R-D. Connected to that, side by side, is the Nazi swastika. So this is a lapel pin showing the unity, the camaraderie of Ford Motor Company and the Third Reich.
Yep.
I have it. It's not some person's imagination of what could have happened. This is a real, genuine period artifact of Nazi Germany. And it's of the highest quality. It's tarnished. It has a patina on it. It's the real deal from the 1930s. That's one example. Another example of what you're talking about is on the American side, the M1 carbine. It was introduced in 1942. It's a lightweight 30 caliber weapon. And they were manufactured by General Motors, Rockola Jukebox Company, International Business Machines, that'd be IBM, the Saginaw steering gear division of General Motors, Winchester, National Postal Meter, Quality Hardware and Machine Company, Standard Product Company. I have a couple of them. I have one by IBM, and I have one by Saginaw, and I might even have another one. But when you think about it, is that possible? Well, they made over 6 million of these things. And the one who made the most would be the Inland Manufacturing Division of General Motors Corporation. They made 43% of them. Winchester made 13%. Underwood, those guys, like the typewriter guys, the Underwood typewriters, they made almost 9% of them. Saginaw made 8.5%. National Postal Meter, 6%. International Business Machines, 5%, 6%. Rockola, the jukebox company, the rarest of them all, 4%. So here we have, companies that are supporting the war effort that we haven't even thought about, right? And IBM was involved in making the tabulation equipment so that the Third Reich could figure out who was in the concentration camps. Back to you.
Yeah, and to expand on that, IBM, to speak to the point earlier, I think people really need to get into the mindset of extrapolating where all this is headed and where this goes. So just 75 years ago, in the 30s and 40s, IBM had it invented this punch card machine. And from some of the research I've done on that, based on 15 questions or 15 data points, if you will, they were able to identify every individual within their borders based on those based on those 15 data points. Think about how many data points are collected on you from birth today. I'm talking from inoculation and medical records to school standardized testing to the first credit card they try to get in your hands when you're 18 years old so that they've got all those data points on your purchasing habits, to facial recognition, to cell phone calls and voice recognition, to all the things that are now out in the public domain that aren't top secret conspiracy theory tinfoil hat stuff anymore. These are all admitted. These are all documented. I think the latest article I read was that based off 3 data points, purchase of 3 products and the timing at which you purchase those, these supercomputers can now identify who the purchaser is. And so when they're told, there's not any identifying information, let me tell you something. Anything in the digital realm, there's always an identifier attached to any sort of transaction or data point connection. And so we've gone in 70 years from punch cards with 15 questions to the purchase of 3 products identifying you on your credit card purchase. Now I'll ask you, where does that lead? Where do we go 5 years?
Hold that
from now,
thought.
10 years
Hold
from
that
now?
thought. Hold that thought. We're going into a break. Joe Occhipinti and I'll be right back. Class, who wants to pay less taxes and enjoy the same tax deductions that the rich take? At the Get Prepared Expo, I'll show you how. This is something I learned 40 years ago, and I'm delighted to teach you. What if you lose your job or your company shuts down? The plan is for you to be financially independent by starting your own business. Any business, whatever you like to do. I haven't had a job since the 1980s. Saturday and Sunday, March 28th and 29th, 150 seminars and exhibits, $8 online, $10 at the door. Cowan Civic Center, Lebanon, Missouri. GetPreparedExpo.com. 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. That's how long it takes to die. At the Get Prepared Expo, we'll have pallets of Berkey and ProPure water filtration systems at the lowest prices in the country. Berkey and ProPure water filtration systems, and we'll have the lowest prices in the country on top of the line Mountain House freeze-dried food with a 35-year shelf life. 150 seminars and exhibits, $8 online, $10 a day at the door. Saturday and Sunday, March 28th and 29th at the Get Prepared Expo. Cowan Civic Center, Lebanon, Missouri. GetPreparedExpo.com. The financial collapse of the United States is a mathematical certainty. There's no doubt about it. U.S. Air Force Captain and author John Regan will explain why this will happen and what you need to do about it right now. We're not trying to scare you, but the collapse is coming. This and 150 seminars and exhibits are included in your pass. $8 online and $10 a day at the door. Saturday and Sunday, March 28 and 29 at the Get Prepared Expo, Cowan Civic Center, Lebanon, Missouri. GetPreparedExpo.com. Ladies, for $450, you can buy a brand new AR-15 rifle kit at the Get Prepared Expo. Because this AR-15 is a kit, there's no paperwork and no registrations required. It's totally private and all 100% legal. AR-15 kits and seminars on how to assemble them. 150 seminars and exhibits, $8 online, $10 at the door. AR-15 kits, $450 at the GetPreparedExpo.com. Saturday and Sunday, March 28th and 29th, Cowan Civic Center, Lebanon, Missouri. How many of you?
What good is a Big Berkey water filter?
We get that question a lot here at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. And in a word, the answer is protection. Protection from water main breaks, E. coli contamination, environmental chemical spills, pesticide runoff, chlorine taste and smell, and all forms of fluoride. Plus, Big Berkey water filters are the original gravity water filter system and most trusted on the market for a reason. Tested by multiple independent NSF EPA certified labs, they are the gold standard in water purification. At only 1.7 cents a gallon, a single set of filters can last for 5 to 10 years. That means big savings. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get a Big Berkey today at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. GCN listeners receive 5% off all ceramic filter systems. Visit our website or call 1-877-99-BERKEY. That's 877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
The human body is extraordinary. Despite all the stresses we inflict upon it, it still works hard to stay in balance. Thousands upon thousands of people rely upon Heart and Body Extract to help their body stay balanced. This excellent 100% natural herbal formula helps maintain healthy blood pressure levels, cleans arteries, promotes good circulation, balances cholesterol, and more. HB Extract, paired with healthy lifestyle choices like good nutrition and exercise, can give you a life free of pain, sickness, and fear. Recapture your youthful vitality and experience your body healing itself with the aid of HB Extract. It's extremely effective and it starts working in just days. Visit hbextract.com to learn more and to read scores of testimonials from satisfied customers. And we've never increased our price in over 10 years. That makes Heart and Body Extract as great a value now as it was the first day we sold it. A healthy heart is a happy heart. Call 866-295-5305 or go to hbextract.com.
You pick up the receiver with your heart racing and sweat dripping from your forehead. You finally muster the courage to dial the number to call into your favorite talk radio show. It rings once, twice, and then...
Hello, it's GCN. What's your name and the state you're calling from?
Surprised you got through, you squeak out.
Jason from Minnesota.
Please hold.
As you patiently wait for your turn, you begin to daydream about being a famous talk radio host and what it would be like to have your own show.
Jason from Minnesota, you're up.
Millions of loyal listeners worldwide waiting to call and talk to you.
Caller, are you there?
Cheering crowds surround you, calling out your name.
Jason! Jason! Going once, twice. Okay, we gotta move on to the next caller.
You blew it.
Huh? Wait, no!
In Interact with the hosts you're listening to right now online at gcnlive.com. Click on the community link. Engage with other listeners. Ask questions. Start debates. Don't agree with the host? Let them know. Be a part of the community at gcnlive.com.
Joe Occhipinti's with us, and you get a chance to meet him at the Get Prepared EXPO. He's been with us for the weekend. You can have dinner with him. Joe, I've met a lot of young people who met the recruiting teams in their high schools, and they're enamored. The young men are enamored with the uniforms, the Marine uniforms. They want to be a pilot. They want to get behind a machine gun. They want to get in a fighter plane. They want to get in a tank. They want to join the Navy and see the world. And they've got this anticipation that this is going to be the coolest thing. And when they talk to me, I say, yeah, but did they tell you that they're going to fit you for a target on your chest and a target on your back? Did they tell you that? Did they tell you you're going to fight wars that you don't even understand? And no one understands, like the Vietnam conflict. I still don't know why we were in Vietnam. I've heard that it was to protect us all against communism. I find that hard to believe. I find it hard to understand why so many of our young men and women have been killed or damaged permanently. And then later, they can't get treatment for the damage they sustained. The spraying of chemicals that has been sprayed on them by Dow Chemical Company, Agent Orange, and how war is a business. And I have Patton's playbook for World War II. And you can see where the casualties are anticipated. Like, how many are we going to lose in this skirmish? How many are we going to lose in this battle? Well, it's worth it. We're only going to lose a few thousand. Let's do it. It's in black and white, and it's in front of us. But the young people don't know it, do they, Joe?
No, they don't. And I can tell you, I grew up in that generation. We had a Marine recruiter on our campus that would walk around at lunchtime, just engaging different students. And, I didn't think much about it at the time. But looking back, and I visited Army recruiters several times thinking about joining the military. And very surprisingly, my dad, when I came home, I was going to join the Navy. My dad forbade it. And I come from a family where my grandfather stormed the beach at Normandy with his brother, earned 2 Bronze Stars. I've got a cousin that graduated second in his class from West Point. I had the opportunity to spend a week at West Point, the United States Military Academy, when I was about 13 years old, and kind of hobnob with the military elite, go to all the different functions and dinners and balls. I got to see the museums there that had all the different weaponry. The thing that made the biggest impact on me about that trip was the museum of all the evolution of military and battlefield weaponry. And the biggest leap came during the Civil War when the United States was fighting each other, and just some of the things that these spiky balled things, the precursor to cluster bombs, where you would shoot these spears out of a cannon, it would bust apart and drop a bunch of other little spears onto the battlefield. It was quite amazing. And so I was conflicted of, hey, do I want to join the military because it's something my family would make my family proud, my country proud. I saw about the service, but I also saw the absolute ugly hellishness that war brings as I traveled through those museums. And like I said, you combine that, okay, and making it look cool with the video game generation. I can remember I was in a generation during the 80s that went from playing Pac-Man and Space Invaders to seeing video games with Israeli-style military Uzi machine gun mounted on the machine. A game called Operation Wolf. I'm certain a bunch of the men out there know exactly the game I'm talking about. And you had an Uzi in your hand, and you were shooting at Central American troops. The background of the game was Central America, and this was during the Iran-Contra hearings and all the FARC things going on in Central America. And so you combine that. Now when I get into high school, the military recruiters right there at lunch on campus to meet you on a daily basis, a weekly basis. Say, oh yeah, tell you whatever you want to hear. And by the way, once you get involved with them and you give them your information, they're relentless. They will not leave you alone. They will show up at your house, especially if you're intelligent and get a certain score on the ASVAB test or the free ASVAB test that they used to give. And they'll tell you anything you want to hear to get you to sign on the dotted line. They're not much different than car sales. So,
except they're selling death. Joe, we're out of time. Joe Occhipinti, thanks so much. You can meet Joe.
Attention listeners, SurvivalLife.com is giving away free EverStrike permanent matches for a limited time only. These matches are waterproof and will light in any weather condition, rain, snow, or sleet. It will still throw a spark. Its built-in ferro rod strikes at 3,000 degrees, and it is good for 15,000 strikes. Normally, $15. Today, it's free. Get yours at freesurvivalmatch.com. That's freesurvivalmatch.com. Hurry, supplies are limited. Visit freesurvivalmatch.com today.
It's happening again. The feds are trying to ban your freedom to own body armor. In January, a newly introduced bill, H.R. 378, will take away your right to buy Level 3 and higher body armor. Katie Armor offers the most affordable Level 3 body armor packages on the market today. Protect yourself. Buy your body armor now before it's too late. Go to katiearmor.com. That's CATI armor.com. Come and take it.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Here is what one doctor has to say about Extendovite.
I would like to thank you, Don, for making my job so much easier, because your products just make it so simple, right? To fool around with a lot of exotic things that don't work, we can just put them on your product and things start to work almost right away. I've had dozens of patients with heart problems who have corrected them, and what it's doing, there's so much garlic in there that has a yeast-killing effect. The yeast is a big problem in the gut, pushes the liver hard. It also has metal chelating effect, and most of the other herbs in there I find that strengthen the arteries. They help to neutralize free radicals. Your remedy close to what we do in our program as you can get as far as one supplement goes. It's working on the gut, it's working on the liver, it's working on the arteries. What more can you ask for?
To get your Extendovite, call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Everyone all set? Cocked? Locked? Here we go. Hour number 2 of USAPrepares.com. During this hour, we're going to talk about doing the unthinkable. We've got Norman Cantwell with us. Stormin Norman Cantwell. And if you had a chance to see the movie Roadhouse, 1989 movie Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze, well, there was a tough bouncer that was hired to clean up a dirty bar. And that movie was based on the life of Stormin Norman Cantwell. Welcome, Stormin Norman Cantwell.
Thank you so much. Good to talk to you. That's it.
Hey, Norm, you come to the meetups and you've done some demonstrations for us. And, I think about Linus Ertley, one of our instructors. He's an insurance adjuster. And he's a big boy, and you're a big boy, and the two of you have gotten in front of our meetup group, and boy, I'll tell you what, Linus can take it for about an hour or two, flopping around on the floor. Why don't you tell us what you do? Because it's a little different from what what you normally see in mixed martial arts and jiu-jitsu and karate. It's really fast, and there's not a lot of sweat on your end of the equation.
I've studied literally all my life. Started when I was a kid. Studied several different styles of high black and several different styles, and literally created my own style. Almost every style out there teaches you how to fight, and my style totally teaches you not how to fight. It is a science. You end the equation almost instantly. Doesn't matter the size, the strength, the gender, the prior experience. Once again, I'm teaching people to fight. Literally, you can take it from whatever level. You can take it from restraint, incapacitate, which means either breaking bones, tearing tendons, ligaments, knocking out. If I had no other option, last option is to fight. I don't want to fight. I'm a Christian man. That's not what I want to do. But as a Christian, it doesn't give anybody the right to attack us, to hurt us. So that's what I'm teaching people, not only to be able to protect themselves, but protect the
Norm, we're having a little trouble hearing you. Are you on a speakerphone?
Sure, why?
Norm,
I'm having a hard time.
Okay.
Hard time hearing you.
Okay. Maybe you could change your position, get closer to a window or something like that.
All right. Did you hear me? Okay.
So yeah. I think it's a little better now. So Stormin Norman Cantwell, you're going to be at the Get Prepared Expo, and you're going to be teaching a few seminars right there in the exhibition hall. We've got an area for you to have some mats, and you're going to be demonstrating to the guests and the instructors and the exhibitors how they can protect themselves and avoid being in a fight, but ending that threat, ending that lethal threat that's coming at you within maybe 2 seconds or less?
That's pretty accurate.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty accurate.
Yeah, I mean, that's based on what I've seen.
Linus, who you spoke of, doesn't really have any prior martial arts experience. One of my students actually on the line who's kind of like me. He studied, I think he's high black in 6 different styles, lived in a Shaolin temple. He's been in the martial arts all of his life. And he can kind of testify to the fact that, once again, it doesn't matter what you know. The very first time I met this gentleman, his name is Ernest Moore, in Springfield. Anybody that's in Springfield knows who Ernie is. But once again, he kind of thought the same way that most people do. I have all this knowledge. I have all this experience. I don't really need to know new knowledge. And he learned in a real short period of time that everything that he learned all of his life didn't matter because, once again, he was taught how to fight. And I'm teaching people science. I could take someone who's never studied ever before in their life, and in a real short period of time, it's just like the animal kingdom. There's predator, there's prey. And most people, whether it be a woman, the predator looks at them as prey. And normally they don't have the knowledge, the skill, the ability to be able to protect themselves. And this is what I'm teaching is, doesn't matter the circumstance, whether there's 2, 3 attackers, whether there's a gun, a knife, a club, doesn't matter. This eliminates the threat instantly. And like I say, you're not sitting out there, you've seen what I do. You're not sitting out there and fighting with somebody for 10 minutes, 5 minutes. It's instantaneous. You're able to deal with that one attack and go to the next. It just changes the whole circumstance of an attack situation. If you don't mind, do you mind if I have others just give a real quick kind of testimony, and then I'll let him get off the line, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure, that'd be fine. Go ahead.
Yeah. How you guys doing? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
Wonderful. I appreciate you having me on the show. Yeah, when I met Storm, I was really blown away. The martial arts that he teaches, it definitely is a martial science. It is very true. I've studied martial arts myself since I was 12 years old. I've lived in Shaolin Kung Fu school. I've lived in a Taekwondo school for a number of years, and I'm currently a pro boxer. Also a Golden Gloves boxing champion. You name it, I've studied it. And the minute that I met Storm, he put me down so fast that I literally, and the only thing I could say was do it again. It was just phenomenal. It honestly blew my mind. That's all I could say was do it again. You know, and he started to teach me that the things and the knowledge, the information that I've attained is fighting. And so, yes, it's very true. And even one attacker, two attackers with a knife, you could come up to me and I could fight you off all day long and not have a problem. However, Storm's system, the science of martial arts, it's revolutionary. It's not fighting in any way. You're literally shutting the body down using pressure points and energy meridians to where the threat is eliminated immediately. The first class that I attended, like you said, there's no sweat to the class, and that is definitely nothing that I was used to. I'm used to hardcore training, kicking trees, throwing bricks over my head, just all kinds of, training tactics. So I show up to Norm's class, and there's some old ladies, not that they're old, because if they're listening, they will hurt me. But there's some ladies that are sitting in the back of the room, and they're just literally eating food and watching the class. And so I went and sat down with the guys. I figured that these ladies weren't involved in the class at all. And, by the end of the class, I realized not only were they involved in the class, but they were the high-level practitioners of Storm's martial art. One of them was my partner at the end of class. And by the time class was over, every time she said the word boom, I almost jumped because of how deadly this martial art is. And again, there's no way in a fighting situation that one of these ladies, let alone all of them, could overpower me in any way, shape, or form. However, like I said, by the end of class, I realized that they were all so well knowledge. They were diverse in the information that Norm's teaching, and very, very capable of disarming me, taking a gun away from me, whatever it is they wanted to do. They're very, very capable. And so I think the number one thing about this art that should fascinate and draw people to it is you don't have to be like myself. You don't have to be years and years and years of martial arts study. You don't have to be someone who picks up on martial arts really quick. This is for a regular person. You're going to come in. There's no wax on. There's no wax off. There's no fluff to it. You come in. Norm shows you how to defend against a knife attack. Norm shows you how to take a gun away from someone, how to shut down an enemy and make yourself free. And that's so important with things that are going on today. Just can't stress how valuable this information really is.
When you talk about wax on and wax off, what you're talking about is those hand movements. And that obviously lets us think about katas, the repetitive movements, the dance, if you will, in martial arts training that you implement in your mind and in your memory, muscle memory, so that should you have to deploy, you know the move, a series of moves, and you just release these katas that you've practiced over and over and over again, and the exercises and the sweat and all that energy. And what you're talking about is just, it doesn't take that long. It doesn't take as long as a kata. It takes maybe 1/100th of the time of a kata to implement.
That's 100% correct. That's exactly right. And, I lived in a Kung Fu school for 5 years. We practiced Northern Shaolin, Lohan Kung Fu, so it's 5 animal form system. each animal form requires, the minimum of a year just to learn the kata, if you would, just to learn the movement of the form, not to mention the elements inside of the form and the energy and the striking and what the whole form consists of. Just for instance, I'll take snake style.
Yeah, hold that thought, and we'll be right back.
No problem.
After we've got a commercial break coming up. We're going to go for about 3 or 4 minutes into a commercial break, and we'll be right back. And we're talking about defending yourselves, doing those things to stop the threat immediately. Absolutely. It's beyond belief. I've seen it many, many times at the meetups. Class who wants to pay less taxes and enjoy the same tax deductions that the rich take. At the Get Prepared Expo, I'll show you how. This is something I learned 40 years ago, and I'm delighted to teach you. What if you lose your job or your company shuts down? The plan is for you to be financially independent by starting your own business. Any business, whatever you like to do. I haven't had a job since the 1980s. Saturday and Sunday, March 28th and 29th, 150 seminars and exhibits, $8 online, $10 at the door. Cowan Civic Center, Lebanon, Missouri. GetPreparedExpo.com. 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. That's how long it takes to die. At the Get Prepared Expo, we'll have pallets of Berkey and ProPure water filtration systems at the lowest prices in the country. Berkey and ProPure water filtration systems, and we'll have the lowest prices in the country on top of the line Mountain House freeze-dried food with a 35-year shelf life. 150 seminars and exhibits, $8 online, $10 a day at the door. Saturday and Sunday, March 28th and 29th at the Get Prepared Expo. Cowan Civic Center, Lebanon, Missouri. GetPreparedExpo.com. The financial collapse of the United States is a mathematical certainty. There's no doubt about it. U.S. Air Force Captain and author John Regan will explain why this will happen and what you need to do about it right now. We're not trying to scare you, but the collapse is coming. This and 150 seminars and exhibits are included in your pass. $8 online and $10 a day at the door. Saturday and Sunday, March 28 and 29 at the Get Prepared Expo, Cowan Civic Center, Lebanon, Missouri. GetPreparedExpo.com. Ladies, for $450, you can buy a brand new AR-15 rifle kit at the Get Prepared Expo. Because this AR-15 is a kit, there's no paperwork and no registrations required. It's totally private and all 100% legal. AR-15 kits and seminars on how to assemble them. 150 seminars and exhibits, $8 online, $10 at the door. AR-15 kits, $450 at the GetPreparedExpo.com. Saturday and Sunday, March 28th and 29th, Cowan Civic Center, Lebanon, Missouri. Helmet.
Did you know that drinking pure, high-alkaline water is one of the most important factors in maintaining high energy and vibrant health? Most experts agree that the water you drink should be at a pH level of 8 or higher. AlkaVision Plasma pH Drops, available only at alkavision.com, combine a unique formula of only the most alkaline minerals. AlkaVision Plasma pH Drops alkalize your water, ridding the body of harmful toxins, and helps you regain health and energy. Alkalizing your water by simply adding 10 drops of AlkaVision Plasma pH Drops helps the body rid itself of acidic waste, increases oxygen content, and raises the pH of your body to healthy levels. And bacteria and viruses cannot survive in an alkaline high pH environment. Order your bottle of AlkaVision Plasma pH Drops for only $29.95 at alkavision.com. That's ALKAvision.com. Or call 269-409-1776. 269-409-1776. Alkalize your body. Supercharge your health at alkavision.com today.
The Genesis Communications Network is one of America's premier broadcasters of captivating talk radio. We thank you for listening. Now, just imagine, there are thousands of people who are just as passionate about radio as you are. But what you may not realize is how easy and affordable it is to advertise with us. Radio commercials for your business could be heard on hundreds of radio stations across the U.S. every day. We can help you by creating an effective radio advertising campaign for your company. From script writing to producing your commercial, just like the one you're listening to right now. No other network provides the level of customer service we do. When it comes to radio advertising, we are your one-stop shop. And no matter how big or small your business is, we can help. Email us at advertise@gcnlive.com, and an experienced advertising executive will help you take the first step towards driving more customers to your business or website. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Class, I was looking at some of the preparedness and survival expos across the country, and there seems to be a new trend. The trend seems to be going from a 2-day event to a 1-day event. We didn't get the message. We didn't get the memo. We went from a 2-day event to a 3-day event. We are going against the trend in Preparedness Expo. So I've determined that where many of the expos have about, less than 20 seminars, we're at over 99 seminars. Actually, we're probably at 103, 104, 105, 106. I haven't updated the website for 2 days. And then, of course, there's Dr. Richard Allen Miller and Matt Stein for the Friday special seminar on game over events. So if you'd like to attend the Get Prepared Expo, what you do is just go to getpreparedexpo.com or usaprepares.com, either one, and you can get your tickets right there online. And the tickets for Matt Stein and Rick Miller's seminar, special price is $85. If you'd like to learn how to suture and cast, you can do that. If you'd like to learn how to put an emergency filling in or reseat a crown, you can learn how to do that. If you'd like to attend our banquet meals with your instructors, like if you would like to have a banquet meal with Stormin, Norman, Cantwell, you may. You may at the Get Prepared Expo, and that'll cost you $10.80 for each banquet meal ticket. And there are banquet meal tickets available for Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday afternoon, Sunday at noon. The demonstrations that you're going to see, let's see if we can get a description of what will we learn during the demonstrations at the Get Prepared Expo. Did I lose you guys? Yeah, I do. Are we on the air? Okay. Well, I'll just give you the number over the air. I'm sure Norm would appreciate his number being given out. If you'd like to contact Norm, don't do it right now because we need him to get back on the air. 816-716-2110. 816-716-2110. That's Stormin, Norman, Cantwell. Okay. And I'll tell you a little bit more about the expo while we're waiting for Norm Cantwell to rejoin us. So at 9 o'clock on Friday, March 27th, we are going to have our early bird special seminar with Dr. Richard Allen Miller and Matt Stein. Game over events, the likelihood, and how to prepare for them. And seating is limited to the first 100. So we still have a few seats left. It's $85. Okay. We've got Norman Cantwell back. Norm, we were discussing the Get Prepared Expo. What are we going to learn from you at the Get Prepared Expo?
Basically, we're going to, once again, learn how to be prepared for any situation, from an attack from the front, the back, multiple attackers, weapons. I'm working on a series of 3 different videos which show what I do happens so quickly, so fast, that a lot of times people aren't able to see everything that happens. Once again, I'm not teaching people how to fight. I teach people a science that works every single time. I will have the first video in that series. It will be also on sale. When I have Ernie, the gentleman that spoke just a little while ago, he'll be there. I'll have a couple other students, once again, literally showing the science. I can explain what this is and how quickly it works until you actually see it. And even when you see it, it's hard to understand. But with the videos, it breaks it down step by step, movement by movement, where you're actually able to see everything. Once again, I teach people how to fight. Yes.
Norm, I can verify what you're saying is absolutely true. When you teach us at the meetups, and let's say Linus Ertley is with you, and you're talking to us, looking at us, at the same time, you've taken Linus down, and it's so fast, and you're doing it, and it's not like you're doing it high speed. You have slowed it down to the point where we can all see it, and it's still so fast. We need to see it again and again and again and again and again. I'm not kidding. And I think that's what Ernie was saying to you after you put him down. He said, do it again, because I don't think he knew what happened. Is that right?
That's correct. I actually did it about 5 times before he said, I want to learn what you...
Class who wants to pay less taxes and enjoy the same tax deductions that the rich take. At the Get Prepared Expo, I'll show you how. This is something I learned 40 years ago, and I'm delighted to teach you. What if you lose your job or your company shuts down? The plan is for you to be financially independent by starting your own business. Any business, whatever you like to do. I haven't had a job since the 1980s. Saturday and Sunday, March 28th and 29th, 150 seminars and exhibits, $8 online, $10 at the door. Cowan Civic Center, Lebanon, Missouri. GetPreparedExpo.com. 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. That's how long it takes to die. At the Get Prepared Expo, we'll have pallets of Berkey and ProPure water filtration systems at the lowest prices in the country. Berkey and ProPure water filtration systems, and we'll have the lowest prices in the country on top of the line Mountain House freeze-dried food with a 35-year shelf life. 150 seminars and exhibits, $8 online, $10 a day at the door. Saturday and Sunday, March 28th and 29th at the Get Prepared Expo. Cowan Civic Center, Lebanon, Missouri. GetPreparedExpo.com.
What good is a big Berkey water filter?
We get that question a lot here at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com, and in a word, the answer is protection. Protection from water main breaks, E. coli contamination, environmental chemical spills, pesticide runoff, chlorine taste and smell, and all forms of fluoride. Plus, Big Berkey water filters are the original gravity water filter system and most trusted on the market for a reason. Tested by multiple independent NSF EPA certified labs, they are the gold standard in water purification. At only 1.7 cents a gallon, a single set of filters can last for 5 to 10 years. That means big savings. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get a Big Berkey today at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. GCN listeners receive 5% off all ceramic filter systems. Visit our website or call 1-877-99-BERKEY. That's 877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
I'm Vincent Finelli of USAPrepares.com. As most of you know, I broadcast weekday mornings on GCN from 9 to 11. And I'm also a full-time farmer. Add to that mix the weekly meetups and the Get Prepared Expo, and this combination makes for a demanding schedule. On the farm, we raise grass-fed Black Angus cattle and provide them with the best variety of summer and fall grasses available. Our cattle are exposed to the extremes of weather, the toxins in the air, and the electromagnetic radiation that's all around us. So even the best grasses and food that we provide are not enough. Our cattle require minerals and supplements for strong health and resistance to disease. And so do we. For these reasons, my mother, our children, Mrs. Finelli, and I all take longevity beyond Tangy Tangerine, De-Stress, Glucogel, and EFA+. USAPreparesTeam.com. And thank you for being in class today.
We live in a complicated society. Stressful issues are always popping up. Have you ever been treated unfairly by someone? Have you ever been overcharged for a repair? Have you ever signed a contract or a document? Worried about identity theft? How many times have you been in those unique situations where you just wanted to call an attorney to find out if you're right or wrong, or what your legal rights are? But every time you think about calling an attorney, what do you think about first? That's right. Who do you call, and how much will it cost? Our friends at Legal Shield have found a solution. With a nationwide network of 6,900 attorneys who average over 19 years of experience, Legal Shield's law firms take over 40,000 calls per week helping their members. For less than $20 per month, you can have access to Legal Shield on everything from the trivial to the traumatic. Let Legal Shield stand up for your rights at lsprotection.com. That's lsprotection.com. Or call 855-340-SAVE, 855-340-7283.
Results will vary from case to case.
This alert just came in. This special announcement is for business owners and leaders of organizations who've been waiting for the right time to build. General Steel has made it impossible to wait any longer with rock-bottom prices that could save you thousands. That's right, General Steel, America's leader in pre-engineered structures, is offering buildings at prices you will never see again. Don't miss these prices. A 50 by 100 for $35,000. You heard right. That's 5,000 square feet for $35,000. Manufacturers, if you need a larger building, try a 100 by 100 commercial building for $129,000. You can't afford to rent with these prices. Imagine a 70 by 100-foot church building for under $69,000. With the economy improving and interest rates still at historic historic lows. You can't afford to wait. So call 866-91-STEEL. Lock in your price now. Call 866-91-STEEL. That's 866-917-8335.
Stormin Norman Cantwell's with us. And Norm, you know, I was thinking during the break about some of the attackers that you've had to fend off. What was the largest number that you've had to fend off simultaneously?
Back, if people learned my death, back before my death, I actually died 25 years ago, and I would be in bar room scenarios. My life literally started at my death. I have no memory prior to my death. I have knowledge because I journaled everything. But the largest amount of people that I encountered at one time was 9 people, and it was over just real quickly. Once again, totally different than what other martial arts are doing. If I have to be in a fight scenario, a lot of styles will teach you to break contact, get away. The world has changed so much. If you're attacked, the bad guy is not just gonna grab you and toss you down. You know, they take your money, your car, your wife, your life. In that scenario, once again, I teach you how the moment that somebody grabs, the confrontation is over and they strike. The confrontation is over and they kick. The confrontation is over. I'm not blocking. If I attack, once again, I'm either breaking bones, striking nerves that stop the body immediately. It's totally different and kind of like Ernie had said, you can see it, and you've seen it, Vince. You still don't even know what all is happening. It happened so quickly.
Absolutely. You know, I don't think, you know, we have photos of you doing these events with us at the restaurant. And literally, you know, I was right up there with the camera, and it is so fast. It is literally so fast that unless you were to repeat it over and over and over and over again, you will miss it. However, the attacker, the person that your opponent feels it so fast, they are down. They don't see it coming. They really don't see it coming. And I've seen you attacked with, we've used, knives, guns, sticks, you know, batons. It doesn't matter. That person is down and can't figure out what happened. Literally. We've seen it at the restaurant. So tell us what we're going to see at the expo. Are you going to do those kinds of demonstrations? And then if others want to learn how to do it, you know, more privately, you'll teach them in a small classroom. How are we going to do this?
Basically, I'm going to have Ernie there. Linus will be there. Possibly a couple other students will be there that literally show knife attacks, gun attacks, from the front, the back. Literally show a little bit of what it is that I teach. If people go to Facebook and also my website, Facebook is Defense by Storm, but there's a small clip from the first video series that already is in the video, and I've had person after person contact me because I'm moving probably at 70% speed, but I attacked 3 different strikes, and they all happened so quickly that most people, you know, and they've watched it over and over and over and over. But one of Ernie had actually either grabbed around the throat. Ernie's the type of person, he's a what-if kind of guy, and all of it was captured on film. But he was like, what if and he come up and grabbed me real hard. Well, my first strike was to his inner bicep, and it caused the shoulder to drop, the neck to open up. The second strike was to the vagus nerve, stomach 9, either one. This action sets up a reaction, caused his head to turn. Third strike would have been to the temple, the carotid, or back at the vagus nerve, whatever my choice, however he turned. But like I say, the people that you can go there and watch it, and you'll have to watch it over and over and over. I've got a few of my students, my son being one. He watched it, hadn't known what I did, but he told me on Facebook. He described what I did. Well, I didn't strike Ernie's neck because I don't ever want to hurt him, but he grabbed hard. I barely struck the point in the bicep. We weren't able to film for 10 minutes because Ernie's arm was totally dead. He couldn't raise it. He couldn't move it. Like I say, we're going to show a variety of different techniques. They're going to be able to get an idea. Like I say, you can hear me talk. You could hear Ernie talk. You could hear Linus, one of my other students, speak. And most people have knowledge in the martial arts. They were like, well, I've already been trained. Well, until you see what it is, it's impossible to comprehend, to understand how powerful, how devastating it can be. And like I say, doesn't matter. Older women in class are able to take Ernie down, who's a very skilled martial artist, and that blew Ernie's mind because he's not accustomed to anybody taking him down. And he's got women that, are a whole lot older than himself, just take him down instantly. And that's what makes us so differently. I can explain it. Ernie could explain it, but until you see it, and like I say, even when you see it, you may not totally fully comprehend. The videos are going to help dramatically, but it's teaching totally different than anybody's comprehension of self-defense or martial arts are. It's just you end the confrontation instantly. It doesn't matter what the attack is, whether you want to restrain it, and that's what makes it so powerful. If I just want to control a situation, a street scenario, I do not teach control. At that point, normally the bad guy's not going to attack unless he's bigger, stronger. He thinks he has more knowledge, he has weapons, or he has friends. In a street scenario, like I say, I do not teach restraint, but I'll show you how to do every aspect, every level, from restraint, from incapacitate, from terminate, if necessary. That would be a last alternative, but if there's 2-3 attackers, there's weapons involved at that point. Once again, I don't want to just hold one guy while another guy shoots me or hits me in the back of the head. This guy won't get back up, and that's what I teach. That is a last case scenario, but we do what we have to. The world has changed so dramatically in the last 20 years, 10 years, 5 years. Even in Springfield, I'm from Kansas City, killings happen every day up there. They're getting to that point in the Springfield area. That's not quite like Kansas City, not like Tulsa, not like St. Louis, or Chicago, but it's getting to that point that the world has just changed. We have to change with it.
Norm, one of my concerns is people in uniform that have body armor and tasers and multiple magazines and billy clubs and all kinds of weapons of torture. And let me ask you this: if there were a rogue cop and he were standing about 4 feet from you with a taser at the ready, pointed at you, would you be able to take him down before he squeezed the trigger?
Without a doubt. In class, I teach action is quicker than reaction. A lot of times, I don't have lots and lots of money, but I'll take a $20 bill. I'll have anybody open their fingers. I put the bill between their fingers. I tell them, if you can grab the bill before it passes your fingers, you can have the bill. Now, I don't have $20 bills to give away to everybody, but I'll do this over and over and over and over, and nobody's able to catch it. By the time their eye perceives that I've dropped the bill, it goes from their eye to their brain all the way down to their fingers. Grab. It's already too late. And that is the same principle as what I teach. I teach you how to, if somebody has a gun on me and my hands are going up, they're not going up in an attack mode. They're just like, I'm raising my hands. They expect that. But when I make my move, once again, at that point, it's already too late. It's already done. Everything has happened, and it happens almost instantaneous. So Bruce Lee had a saying, be like water. If you put water in a glass, the glass or the water becomes a glass. If you put it in a pot, the water becomes a pot. He wanted us to be like water. If water, in a way, brushes over your body, it goes all over your body. You're not able to stop it. And that's kind of the same principle. Everything that I teach happens. I'm doing actually 3 different techniques or 3 different moves simultaneously. It's being like water. And the body cannot counter, cannot stop, there's nothing they can do. It's held helpless, renderless to what the attack happens. And like I say, it happens instantaneous.
Norm, when you have had to use these techniques, has anyone succeeded in taking you down? Has a single individual taken you down?
No, and that's what makes it so powerful. It doesn't matter what they know or what they think they know. When you're using every action sets up a reaction, you will learn how the body works. The body is amazingly big. God has given us a body that is able to do so much, but also understanding that mechanically the body can only do certain things. And that's what I'm teaching you, is to do things to the body that mechanically doesn't matter whether he's wearing armor, whether he's stronger, whether he's 7 foot and you're 5 foot. You're attacking target areas of the body. Mechanically, you're doing things to the body that shut the body down. So it doesn't matter, once again, and that's what makes it so different. In the world we live today, I'm not teaching people, once again, this is not joking around. This is not, I'm going to go to a martial art class. This is learning life, death, situations, scenarios, and you learn how to not be a victim member. That's what your whole show is all about, is being prepared. And that's what I teach.
Stormin, Norman Cantwell, you're going to get a chance to have dinner with him. You're going to get a chance to see him in action. You're going to get a chance to talk to him at his booth at the Get Prepared Expo. And we're going to have specially priced DVDs. I've asked Norman to remove the packaging and sell the DVDs with the minimum packaging to drive the price as low as possible. Class, who wants to pay less taxes and enjoy the same tax deductions that the rich take? At the Get Prepared Expo, I'll show you how. This is something I learned 40 years ago, and I'm delighted to teach you. What if you lose your job or your company shuts down? The plan is for you to be financially independent by starting your own business. Any business, whatever you like to do. I haven't had a job since the 1980s. Saturday and Sunday, March 28th and 29th, 150 seminars and exhibits, $8 online, $10 at the door. Cowan Civic Center, Lebanon, Missouri. GetPreparedExpo.com. 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. That's how long it takes to die. At the Get Prepared Expo, we'll have pallets of Berkey and ProPure water filtration systems at the lowest prices in the country. Berkey and ProPure water filtration systems, and we'll have the lowest prices in the country on top of the line Mountain House freeze-dried food with a 35-year shelf life. 150 seminars and exhibits, $8 online, $10 a day at the door. Saturday and Sunday, March 28th and 29th at the Get Prepared Expo. Cowan Civic Center, Lebanon, Missouri. GetPreparedExpo.com. The financial collapse of the United States is a mathematical certainty. There's no doubt about it. U.S. Air Force Captain and author John Regan will explain why this will happen and what you need to do about it right now. We're not trying to scare you, but the collapse is coming. This and 150 seminars and exhibits are included in your pass. $8 online and $10 a day at the door. Saturday and Sunday, March 28 and 29 at the Get Prepared Expo, Cowan Civic Center, Lebanon, Missouri. GetPreparedExpo.com. Ladies, for $450, you can buy a brand new AR-15 rifle kit at the Get Prepared Expo. Because this AR-15 is a kit, there's no paperwork and no registrations required. It's totally private and all 100% legal. AR-15 kits and seminars on how to assemble them. 150 seminars and exhibits, $8 online, $10 at the door. AR-15 kits, $450 at the GetPreparedExpo.com. Saturday and Sunday, March 28th and 29th, Cowan Civic Center, Lebanon, Missouri.
The human body is extraordinary. Despite all the stresses we inflict upon it, it still works hard to stay in balance. Thousands upon thousands of people rely upon Heart and Body Extract to help their body stay balanced. This excellent 100% natural herbal formula helps maintain healthy blood pressure levels, cleans arteries, promotes good circulation, balances cholesterol, and more. HB Extract, paired with healthy lifestyle choices like good nutrition and exercise, can give you a life free of pain, sickness, and fear. Recapture your youthful vitality and experience your body healing itself with the aid of HB Extract. It's extremely effective and it starts working in just days. Visit hbextract.com to learn more and to read scores of testimonials from satisfied customers. And we've never increased our price in over 10 years. That makes Heart and Body Extract as great a value now as it was the first day we sold it. A healthy heart is a happy heart. Call 866-295-5305 or go to hbextract.com.
By now, you may have heard a bit about Bitcoins, but did you know Bitcoins are now over an $8.5 billion market? And did you know that over 65,000 businesses now accept Bitcoins? Listen, if you're already earning Bitcoins or trying to make money in the Bitcoin market, you've got to know bidbit.co. Why? Because bidbit.co is where you can easily receive Bitcoins by selling and auctioning off your own personal items or promote business products and services for Bitcoins. You heard right. Whether personal or business, you can now buy, sell, and auction your products and services quickly, easily, and securely for Bitcoin at bidbit.co, the first and only marketplace website to offer BidBit Escrow, a proprietary technology which gives buyers and sellers security and peace of mind because all transactions are protected. Start today. It's free to join, free to post, free to auction, and free to bid at bidbit.co. Buy, sell, bid, or auction everything Bitcoin. That's www.bidbit.co, bidbit.co.
For over 5 years, you've been hearing about the Berkey guy, so you may know a few things about him. For example, you are well aware of the superior quality and effectiveness of Berkey water filters and accessories. But did you know the Berkeys have had independent lab tests done to prove just how effective they are? It's true, and he can email you the test results. Just visit goberkey.com. You may also know that the Berkey guy has helped tens of thousands of people get better prepared. Now here's something you may not know. GoBerkey.com has amazing specials and deals all the time on a wide variety of survival and preparedness products, most ready to ship same day. Visit the Berkey guy at goberkey.com and be sure to click the red Products on Sale Now button. You can always call toll-free 877-886-3653. Again, that's 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com, home of the Berkey guy.
Class, I just want to remind you that we've got a meetup Monday night at Jimmy's Egg. And I'm going to be passing out the passes for the Get Prepared Expo for those loyal students who have been with us for years. And I'll be passing out the signs so we can put more signs all over the Ozarks. And I'm going to bring a Pro Pure water filtration system, and we'll demonstrate the advantages of why we really like them. And we're selling pallets of the Pro Pure water filtration system at the Get Prepared Expo at the lowest price in the country. And I'd like to present a guarantee. If you come to the Get Prepared Expo and you don't find that this is one of your life's 10 most memorable events, I'll be delighted to give you your money back. It's never happened. You will meet the most impressive instructors and exhibitors in the entire country. You'll meet authors, talk show hosts. You'll meet Stormin, Norman Cantwell. You'll meet Ernie Moore. You'll meet Linus Ertley. You'll meet Mike Ma. That is a team of defense that you just won't believe. Seriously. And these are the faculty of USA Prepares. Dr. Patrick Vickers called me from Mexico. He'll be with us at the Get Prepared Expo. And he'll be talking about the Gershon therapy. And you will be impressed. 4 hours of Dr. Patrick Vickers at the Get Prepared Expo, plus banquet meals, plus having one-on-one conversations with them, just like you will with Stormin, Norman Cantwell, and Ernie Moore. Norm, how do we describe the Get Prepared Expo? I mean, it's tough for me to kind of describe what it's like. Can you do it?
I haven't been to one of your expos. I've actually watched some of the people that you're going to have there. Once again, it's being prepared for any circumstance, any situation. You're learning
Okay. How would you describe our meetups? How would you describe our meetups?
They're pretty amazing. Every time I go, I'm learning, and that's the whole key. Knowledge is power. The more we can learn, doesn't matter what the knowledge is. This is knowledge that truly will not only add to your life, but change your life. It's giving you knowledge that, once again, prepares you for whatever circumstance. We never know what tomorrow is going to bring. We can kind of, Christ talked about, we know things by what's happening in the world. We're able to perceive things, understand things, but without being prepared, we can know things are coming, but if we don't have the knowledge to be able to deal with that circumstance, that situation, we're lost. We're up a creek without a paddle. Not a good place to be. And that's what your class, that's what the meetups, that's what this expo is going to be all about, is learning to be prepared under all circumstances, every situation.
Norm, when someone wants to buy your video, your DVDs, will they be able to implement the things that you teach from the DVDs?
It's always good I like being there. I love teaching, but they're going to be able to use the DVDs and actually see. They're going to be able to play it over and over and over, and they will be able to implement everything that I teach, everything that they see. It's actually, it enhances, one-on-one teaching, group teaching is amazing. You're still going to learn, but to be able to watch the DVD, you're able to see it in a different light. You're able to break it down and see exactly what I'm doing and understand the logic, the reasoning to doing what I'm doing, and to understand how this makes it where, once again, it is physically impossible to counter, to fight against. It doesn't matter. So yes, the DVDs are going to be amazing. I've had people hear your music.
Yeah, we're out of time. Get Prepared Expo is doesn't start next Friday, but the Friday after, the 27th, is the first day of the Get Prepared Expo, where you can go to the seminar with Dr. Richard Allen Miller and Matt Stein and have dinner with us, and that's setup day. Information on the website, getpreparedexpo.com. It is absolutely, positively the largest, most comprehensive, and best preparedness expo in the country. Why? Because of your faculty, the faculty of usaprepares.com. Stormin, Norman Cantwell, thank you so much for being with us. Ernie Moore, thanks for being with us. Above all, honesty and integrity. What happens next?
Attention listeners, survivallife.com is giving away free EverStrike permanent matches for a limited time only. These matches are waterproof and will light in any weather condition, rain, snow, or sleet. It will still throw a spark. Its built-in ferro rod strikes at 3,000 degrees, and it is good for 15,000 strikes. Normally, $15. Today, it's free. Get yours at freesurvivalmatch.com. That's freesurvivalmatch.com. Hurry, supplies are limited. Visit freesurvivalmatch.com today.
It's no secret that government and big business buy in bulk and get huge discounts not available to the little guy. Until now. Introducing a breakthrough crowd buying website where people can join together, buy in bulk, and get massive discounts on millions of popular products. It's TogetherSave.com. TogetherSave.com. You can save 20, 30, or even 50% off tablets, smartphones, cars, appliances, textbooks, sports equipment, video games, and much more. All with free delivery. Check it out. TogetherSave.com. Visit now and start group buying today at TogetherSave.com.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.